Hi, kindergartners, it's Mrs. Ross, and I hope you had a great 2 weeks off. We have had so much fun at our house, and now I want to spend some time writing about it. I want to tell you what I've done. Now, this year was a little different at Christmas time because usually we like to go drive up to Warm Beach and see the lights of Christmas, or we can go to see the zoo lights down at the zoo. We might go out to movies and go out to dinner, or we might even go downtown Seattle and see all the lights down there. We didn't get to do any of that this year because of the COVID stuff, but we did do some fun things around the house. We had movie night, we had movie and popcorn, we had cocoa from our cocoa station, and we got some new little cocoa bombs that you put in and they melt. We did all sorts of fun stuff just here. We played some games and just had a good time. So even though we couldn't go places, we still had fun around our house and around our neighborhood. Now, one of the things that we did while we were on our break is we went for a walk. We usually take Russell out for a walk every night, right about 4 o'clock. And lately it's been getting dark right about 4 o'clock because it's getting to be that time of year where it's really dark, really early. So we got to see all of the Christmas lights. So we were a little later for our walk, which made it a little darker, but that meant that all the lights came on, and I thought that would be a good thing to write about. Even though we didn't really get to go places and do things, I think that counts as doing something fun. So I want you to be thinking about some fun things that you've done over the break. Now, one really cool thing, now that we are in January of first grade or of kindergarten, means that you get your new book that's just like the first graders' books. So this is big stuff, you guys. It's just like the first graders get. And it's your green book. So you'll hear your teachers call it your green book a lot. And the first thing you'll want to do is put your name up at the top of your green book. Now I want to tell you something really important. We've been practicing first letter capital, all the rest lowercase. You've been practicing on your name ticket cards. Make sure that when you put your name up here, it's first letter capital, all the rest lowercase. And because this is like a first grade book, it's big kid stuff, we're going to try to keep this really nice. So we're not going to scribble on it or make messes on it. We're going to keep it really nice the way it is. Okay, I'm going to zoom in here so you can see the book really well. Okay, and you can see on the inside right here, this is a place for you to write words that you're maybe not as familiar with for spelling, or maybe it's a sight word that we have that you want to put in here. So the things that are already in here are a lot of the sight words that we already know. A and at, dad, mom, me, my, go, love. So there's lots of words. This is a good one, went. A lot of times kids want this word, went, and they don't know how to spell it. So you can use this little dictionary spot for words, for sight words, things that you already know and things that you're curious about. One of the things that I write a lot about, for a lot of kids, is Christmas up in the C section. So you might ask your mom or dad to write the word Christmas right there for you. You might want some family words, like the word cousin would go under the C section. You might want the word friend. So ask a grown-up to write the word friend for you in the F section. So that's a tool for you to use. And then here we are on the first page. Now there's a spot up here for the date, and if your teacher has talked to you about how to write the date, you sure can. You can go ahead and put that up there. I'm just going to ignore that part for right now and not worry about it. But I wanted to show you the story that I'm going to write today. Now, friends, we really, really, really want you to do the writing on this part in pencil only. So your words, it's really important that your words are going to be in pencil. And then when you start to draw your picture, you can do your picture in pencil too and then come back and color it later. Or color it as you go is fine, but we really want the words to be in pencil because if you need to make changes, it makes it a lot easier and it keeps it nice and neat. Marker will sometimes go through and it makes it hard to write for the next time. Now, like I told you guys, this is big kid paper. So you'll notice there's a line up here and a line down here, and then there's the little dashed line in between. So I just want to highlight this so you guys can see. Here's the big line, Here's the next big line, and there's these little dashes in between. And this is where I'm going to keep my words, okay? Then there's a little blank spot in here. This spot right here, we're not gonna do anything in that spot. That's just gonna stay empty, and then we'll write in the next spot. So for my story, I was thinking about the nighttime that we went out walking and saw all the pretty Christmas lights. So I might draw a house, and I might draw the moon up here so that you know it's nighttime. Maybe I'll put a couple stars out. And this house, I'm going to come back and put the colorful lights on later, but it had little lights that go all the way around the house. And there's one house that even has like they've got these triangle things in their yard, and it's this Christmas light show, and it lights up on a big star that they have. And then there's a speaker, and the music is playing. So here's the speaker. But it was just really cool to see all these different houses and how they decorated their lawns and how they decorated with their lights. And then I better draw Mr. Ross, Mrs. Ross, and this is going to be Russell right down here. And he's got a big curly tail and big waggy ears. I'm just going to draw him as stick people today because I'm running out of room here. Okay, so this is Mr. Ross, Mrs. Ross, and Russell. And I can label all those. I can put this is me. I can label, I didn't put legs on Russell. I can label an R for Russell. I can label this, Mr. Ross is the dad in our family, so I can write dad. And now I'm ready for my sentences. Now, since I wrote right here and did the coloring right there, I'm not going to do my sentence right there because I want you to see what it would look like neater. So I'm going to move down a line right here, and I'm going to say, we went, and notice I keep most of my lowercase letters right in the bottom part of this. Walking. And since I'm done with that sentence, I'll put a period. Now, your teachers are going to say, tell me more. So I'm going to say more, and I'm going to say, we went walking. We saw, and then I'll use the big word Christmas, and that one gets a capital C. Christmas lights. Okay, so I've got my story. I'm being very careful with my words. I want to make sure that they stay in the lines. I've got Mr. Ross, Mrs. Ross, and Russell, and we went for a walk outside at nighttime, and so many houses had beautiful Christmas lights and Christmas light displays. And I wrote, we went walking, we saw Christmas lights. Now, I'm not going to go on to my next page right now unless I'm really done with this page. So that means that I'm going to come back and I'm going to color, I'm going to label more. Maybe I'll put that this is the lights. I'll add the beautiful colored lights that go up there. I might color the sky dark since it was a dark night and when we went out. So I'm going to add all of the details that I can before moving on to the next page, because I don't want to fill up this book with just random scribbly things. I want to make sure that it's done properly and it's done really well. So make sure that you do this really well before you move on to your next page. I also wanted to show you that the next day you're going to start with the next page in your book. I'm not going to open my book up and say, oh, I can just start right here in the middle of my book. I don't want to do that. I want to find the very next page. So I'm going to open my book to the first and say, oh, I can't write on that. Can't write on this one. Oh, but the next page that I come to is the one I'm going to start on. Okay, so make sure you're writing on the first page that's available when you're doing your work. Okay, friends, I want to hear all about what you did over your break. I know it might not sound super big and exciting like a trip or going to see something, but I bet you had some fun things you did with your families. I bet there were times that you got to play or have fun doing games or watch movies. So think about what it is that you enjoyed and let's write about it. Okay, have fun writing.